Well, welcome, guys. Me and Justin here are once again taking a little bit of time off, but it's hard not to comment on the world issues of the day. Sometimes we like to do that around here. I was thinking a lot about last night, like what's it mean about the fact that there was an assassination attempt, potentially on Donald Trump. It looks like it. It's early. We're filming this the day after that happened. It looks to us like from the video that we saw, because I haven't even watched the news this morning, that maybe a bullet had grazed his ear, maybe hurt himself falling over, but it does look like there was an assassination attempt. And I'm thinking, like what can we take out of this beyond just the obvious, that this is that's crazy, that is something stupid that shouldn't be done. I think one of the first things that came to my mind was that look how far we still have to go. It's upsetting to me because it's like, look how stupid that is. Look how, the fact that you've got two men pitting themselves against each other. They have these massive rallies where they stand up, the thought that one person's running the world or on an entire country is just ridiculous. We all know that it's way beyond that. And the fact that someone out there thought that, well, if I can get rid of Donald Trump, then I can end all this or something like that. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it kind of shows to me a little bit of people's need for symbolic gestures, either symbolically take this guy out or symbolically prop him up, especially now that he's sort of like in martyrdom status.
Yeah, well, now that they've done this, to me, it seems like it's going to make his probability of winning this, election even higher now. That's what it seems to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, there's every kind of perspective you can imagine out there. There's probably the conspiratorial one, which would be that this was all designed to make him a savior type, martyr type character.
Yeah.
There's actually probably some people sort of excited about this type of, when something like this happens, this is exciting. This, time to dig your feet in deep into some opinion and get online and start battling.
What a distraction to get yourself attached to, right?
Right.
Hear that, folks? Hear the birds above us going crazy? We got like a whole flock of birds.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like tons of them. But imagine you're trying to do some consciousness work. You're trying to build yourself up, and then you latch onto a story like this, and this could pull you off of whatever you're pursuing for months, because this will be on mainstream, even on your social media feeds. This is going to be everywhere now for the next month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And they got like this crazy image of him. It's like amazing, some of the photos that get taken of this stuff. There was an image, again, those birds, tons of birds. There was an image taken of him, like as they were taking him off stage, with his fist in the air and the American flag behind him.
If you listen closely to the audio, you can hear him go, wait.
Yeah.
And then
he fist pumps the crowd
like as if like we're getting this photo op. You know what I mean? All the security holding him and him, one fist going up.
Yeah.
It's like almost feels like somebody wrote it or something. But I don't want to be insensitive.
Yeah.
In case it actually did happen, I don't want anyone to have gotten hurt.
But although some people were apparently in the crowd,
yeah.
Look how such a stupid incident. You went to take out a guy and you ended up taking out the wrong person. And like when I went to bed last night, another person I think was in critical condition. So,
yeah, it's one thing that's been coming to mind a lot lately is people's tendency to revert to survival mentality. It's not like we don't have examples to draw from of a mentality where people work together, but people there's many of us still that insist that things have to be a dominance hierarchy, and there has to be a struggle. There has to. And even to be fair, people that are like, well, I kind of don't want to be around unless there's a struggle. It sounds boring. Like I'm not interested in peace.
Yeah.
That is a real perspective to take. That's not my perspective. I want peace.
Yeah.
Like, how about you?
Well, hell yeah. That's like, I think, even though we have differing opinions, I'm not just saying you and me, but people out there on what a peaceful world looks like or what a good world looks like. A lot of this type of nonsense takes place when people are lacking. A lot of evil, a lot of unconsciousness comes from a world and a place of people who just want to be heard. They they've maybe they lost their job or something like that, and there's like no compassion shown towards them, and they're struggling to make ends meet. People do crazy things when they're hurting, and this should be a lesson for all of us, whatever side of the political spectrum you're from. If you don't want to have to fight so hard against that opposite, make sure that they're doing all right. Make sure that they're being heard. Make sure that their needs are being met. Try to put yourself in their shoes. That's one thing I was listening to this week. I think it was Aaron Abke was talking about this. Like, what would happen? Say you were conservative or a liberal, or rich or poor. Try to put yourself in the opposite person's shoes, the person who's in the situation that's completely different, or the person that you deem as evil. Try to like see through their eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll probably quickly realize that it's not like they don't have no good reason to do what they're doing.
Well, not only that, I think you can get stuck in a groove. You can get stuck even in a survival mentality groove. So,
Mm.
what I mean is, there's a saying that's sort of like, you heal people so that they can face more sophisticated problems, or you heal people so that they can actually tackle just more existential problems, essentially.
Yeah.
But that can be frightening. Imagine fighting to get out of a hand to mouth situation, and then all of a sudden you've found peace, and the only thing left to do is resolve all that stuff you had to do back when you were fighting for survival, lying to survive, stealing to survive, sometimes murdering to survive, and
Yeah.
now you've got your kingdom and you're full of trauma.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think what happens is people go, "Oh, I'm bored now," or
Yeah.
this is what's there's no meaning to my life anymore without the fight. So I'll go back to some fight or flight scenario. I'll revert back to something like that because I'm not going there. I'm not going to go see some shrink to help me.
Yeah. Well,
And it's
yeah.
not like a judgment. It's an understandable conundrum.
Yeah.
What you tackle after that, up and up and up, you solve your trauma. Say you've healed most of your trauma, and you're not fighting hand to mouth day by day anymore. And you're like, well, what now? Like, what is the actual point? That's the question that's left: is what is the point of life? And
Yeah.
then maybe spirituality arises, and that becomes very uncomfortable. It's a whole lifetime of moving from one situation to the next, and it's just easier to go back. It's the grass is always greener, because when you are totally enthralled in some, fighting to survive situation, you are going to be dreaming about being high on the hog. But people in developed countries that do sit high on the hog often face issues like depression and mental illness
Yeah.
and suicidal ideation.
Yeah. And it's harder than ever before, because I think in the past you used to be able to shut a lot of that stuff out. Media was very limited. All you had was that square box in your living room.
Yeah.
Now it's in your hand. It's everywhere you go. People are, it's weird. It's like we're more isolated, yet we're still watching from an outside vantage point, looking in, seeing everything now, all across the world. All the people with their suffering. I can't wake up and turn on my phone without seeing, oh, a drone attack happened today in Ukraine. Look at here's the guy in the bunker begging for his life.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's pretty wild. And I think at this time, I think what's happening right now across the world is like, all of us now are collectively faced with the decision to make. Like, where do we really want to go from here? Do we want to like take a step back into the past and really experience what
Dictatorship.
World War II was like? You want to really go through that? You want to see what that's all about again? Did you not learn your lesson?
Yeah.
You know, and I think as countries all around the world, we need to, figure that out. What do we actually really want? Is it time for us to actually start taking, everyone more seriously? Like, stop closing our eyes and turning a blind eye to all the horrible things around the world? What kind of collective decisions can we make? These are all good questions.
There's something to me synonymous with swiftness and foolishness. Some of the worst decisions are made knee-jerkly. Some of the best ones are too, and if you're ignorant, what can you do but live and learn, right?
Yeah.
But something about that sitting without doing, without posting, without saying, without sticking your foot in your mouth, something about that can be a long-suffering situation. You know what I mean? By that I mean requires patience and sitting and waiting for the answer rather than going out and attacking it and finding it.
Yeah.
And the temptation is when you see all your other fellow humans scrambling around and uttering phrases like, well, if you're not in it, you can't win it. And if you're not engaged, well, then you only got yourself to blame. And, if you hesitate, everybody knows how that one ends.
Yeah. We do have, it's crazy how much of a culture we do have on like, seize this moment right now.
Yes.
Or you're going to miss out on the latest stock or Bitcoin boost.
But when you get a taste for not jumping at those situations, it doesn't take long for you to be like, oh, now I'm rounding wisdom.
Yeah.
Because if you just wait a little bit longer, you see all the hastiness resolve itself into turmoil. You see the person that gets that other patch of grass that they had their eye on. That grass over there is greener. They get it, and then you see just a little bit longer what happens, the truth of that situation. And then slowly you realize, over time, how little you actually do need. Especially in a capitalistic culture. Maybe not always talking to somebody who's, needs to find like food and water. Find food and water first. Find shelter. Find, meet all your needs. But after that, start to see this like in this fat bloated mentality of greed for what it is.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on that one.
Yeah, well, you know what? For those who are watching, I don't know how the audio is going to turn out on this. There's a lot going on in the background here where we are. This is our first take at this. So I'm going to check it out. Hopefully you guys liked our little talk here on the president and everything that's kind of going on here in the world. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone until next time, stay spiritual.